and I know he's enjoying the World Series. Lake, good morning. Congratulations, Penn State no longer the highest buyout issued here in this coach or firing cycle.
Hey, I mean, listen, this is the time. This is a good time to be fired, so you can sit on the beach, sit on the golf course, and collect your money, collect your earnings, and still get double dipped because a lot of these coaches will be coaching next year.
Yeah.
One probably will be nearby. Didn't learn the first time, I'm just saying.
From one Penn State coach to another. But James Franklin will at least win 10 games.
Oh, no, he's going to make – and I'm talking like past tense, but I think he's going to be at VTech. I really do. Talked to Jalen Lane about that the other day, and Jalen was like, but I hear he's a great guy. And I'm like, yeah, he is. He's a really great guy.
That's my least favorite
But that might
line.
be the problem because when you see guys throwing their coach in a pool and playing with them, would you ever see Nick Saban thrown in a pool? Or, you know what I mean? There's levels to this.
My least favorite saying when it comes to coaches is, he's a nice guy. I truly...
I don't need you to be nice.
I don't care.
I just need you to coach me to win.
Listen, guys, you're either Brian Kelly or James Franklin, all right? That's the spectrum.
Oh, I'll go Coach Franklin then, if that were the case.
I've never seen so many players speak out against their coach. That is crazy.
I heard... okay, let's just put it this way. A friend of mine whose son played at Notre Dame over 10 years ago, they told me, yeah. Yeah. Wasn't the most liked guy in the building for sure.
Yeah. He did a good job of hiring assistants that seemed to be very liked, and then
that's
he himself.
what it is. And he played the taskmaster, and he played it. He played it to the tune of $53 million. I mean, he's winning. I'm sorry. He's winning by losing.
He gets to go to Cancun for the next 5 months, enjoy his time down there, not worry about a thing, come back, maybe apply to a few jobs, see who wants them, and then if no one does, it doesn't matter. I'm still getting paid my money.
I mean, how many people right now listening right now are could just show up at their job and not do anything, and they're going to be rewarded for that? I think everyone would do that.
Not even show up to their job. They can just go. They can leave their job and get the same salary. They don't even have to show up.
Yeah, that's a coup if there ever was one.
Speaking of not showing up, Washington Commanders defense struggled a little bit on Monday night. First half was good.
Yeah, they were good.
Second half, things went off the rails, and it feels, looking at playoff odds, all of those fun stats and fun sites, seems like this season is a lost year for Washington.
Well, I'm not going to say just yet, and I'm not trying to be the over-optimist here. I'm just saying I think these next two games are going to determine their season because they're conference games. They're against teams that clearly are playoff teams in Seattle and Detroit. And if you were to split, you still can prolong that question we're talking about now. Is the season over? But if you were to win these two games, which are at home where they play good football at least. I know they most recently lost to Chicago at home. Should have won that game. So if you were to win these two games and not just beating premier NFC teams, at least this year, you would put your record back at 500 and you would have momentum, and then you'd be playing the Dolphins in Madrid, So not looking forward to that trip yet. I'm just tired of traveling. Okay, but with that said, I really believe that this team has an opportunity because Monday night, I can honestly say that first half looked like the Washington team we were all expecting to see this year. They were competitive. There was a lot of energy in between breaks. They were jumping up and down and talking. I had never seen them have that energy all season. And remember, I said I saw that during practice last week. It was a high-energy practices. They just didn't have enough. And what I really feel like happened was that coaching staff, that Hall of Fame coaching staff for the Chiefs, and then, of course, that Hall of Fame quarterback, they made adjustments at halftime, and they countered everything Washington's offensive and defensive coordinator, I'm not mentioning names, they countered everything they were doing in the first half, and those guys didn't have an answer. So that was the problem. If they could counter, maybe the game is closer. But, yeah, these next two games, they have to win them.
Yeah, they came out in that first half, high intensity, high press. I mean, Lattimore gets that pick because he's draped on the guy in a good way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not
we'll
interference.
Take that.
Or
we'll take that for once.
But came out with a lot of man-to-man coverage, a lot of kind of press coverage. And then in the second half, it just felt like things started to slip away. Maybe it was Andy Reid just realizing that, hey, oh, if Bobby Wagner's going to be out in coverage, we're going to circle him and attack. If Lattimore is doing things, we're going to attack.
Well, in the first half, defensively, Washington was playing press coverage, man-to-man, and it really threw Kansas City off. They were getting a pass rush as well. I mean, the plays that Patrick made all night, he was under duress a lot, but he's Patrick, and he just makes it look easy. He off-schedule plays, that's what he can do with, probably the greatest of all time doing it. But in the second half, you saw Kansas City come out and they started sending the guy in motion. They started doing the crossing routes, and you started seeing guys start thinking again and blown coverages, missing guys here, letting guys run past them. And that's when you saw those freebies where there was a guy that would catch a ball and there was no one in your picture near him. And that's how it was live. It looked even worse, being there. By the way, not to stray, I was so disappointed in Arrowhead.
Really?
Oh my God!
We're talking smack to Arrowhead?
I don't want to say smack, because the people were fabulous. The staff there was phenomenal.
Okay.
But this year I've been to Lambeau, I've been to Arrowhead.
Okay.
And I get that they're older stadiums and they're in small market town. I get it. But man, it was
what was bad about it?
First of all, the joke that went through, the press box was we were giving Jesus a high five, because when I tell you that's the highest place I've ever been in a stadium. It was, I could honestly say this: if you got a running start and jumped out of the press box, you were going to land on the field. It's straight up. It's narrow, straight up. Press box wise, it was rough, man. It was rough.
do you remember there was a U.S. men's national soccer team game at Arrowhead? I want to say 2-3 years ago now. Maybe it was even during COVID. And they do the world feed, which is a different broadcast spot than where the NFL does it from. And everyone was like, we're watching this from the moon. It was so high up. So they must have been right next to you guys where that broadcast feed was back in the day.
You guys are younger than me, but I remember the video games I had growing up, the little handheld ones, and it was the little dots, and you had to move the dots around. My binoculars got probably the most use I've ever used binoculars in a stadium. That was my first time at Arrowhead, or Geha Field at Arrowhead Stadium. I had to remember to do that for my post game. But yeah, it was so high up there. It was unbelievable. Right outside the window, they have like arrows, triangles on each corner of the stadium where the seats go into one formation, and the top two seats it's just one seat up there, and then there's two, then there's three, and it counts down like that. We were above the one. That tells you everything you need to know.
Ooh. Did you walk up or you elevator up?
Oh no! I mean, it was elevator. If there was a walk up, I mean, that could.
You might still be in Kansas City.
Yeah. But I mean, don't get me wrong. The staff was good, and I will say this: that whole thing about Kansas City and the pork and the pulled pork and all that. Even when I went to the airport yesterday to come home, and I'm looking for soup. I'm on my diet. I'm looking for soup and salad. The salad was pork salad. Yeah, well, I mean, it was everywhere. Like that is a way of life out there.
Yeah.
It really is.
The Midwest is something. I went to the Iowa State Fair right next door to Kansas City. In my past job, I was there for 2 weeks. I don't think I've eaten that much pork in my life. Granted, it's a state fair, so everything's a little different. But like
that's all that's offered. Like my hotel was in the Hilton, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna get something nice. It was Cobb salad, and then there was brisket salad.
Yum!
Like, come on, man.
So where does KC barbecue? This is how bad the game was that we've now divulged into food talk. Where does KC barbecue rank in your rankings?
I'm not bashing Kansas City, but. My father, man, he was from Carolina, so I grew up with the vinegar.
The best.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I can't do sweet like sweet pork stuff. That just wasn't me, man.
Yeah, vinegar based,
Didn't
more
like how
vinegar
that
better.
sounded either. But yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, the Carolina's got the best barbecue. I will fight with
question. Without question.
I'm also a pork guy. I don't really love the beef as much, so that throws Texas out of the way.
I had to leave both of them alone. I did the first night I was there. I did have, I had a Kansas City pork, sandwich or whatever, and we can't tell your listeners, but didn't sit well. I mean, on my diet now, I can't handle certain foods. So anyway,
so looking at the Commanders' next game to go off that
I was nauseous
topic,
from that too.
I can only imagine. Yeah, Seattle comes to town.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels missed last game. Do you expect him to be back, or do you think they'll still hold him out? What do you expect for Jaden?
100% Jaden plays. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
I would be literally shocked if he didn't play. I think again, that whole could he have played?
If it was the playoffs,
He stood up on the sidelines the whole game, and if a guy's really that injured, they're not even going to fly him out there. First of all, we knew he was going to be there because the league's not missing that photo op with him and Patrick. Forget that. No, you knew that was happening. But yeah, he was out there, and I think they knew if there was a throwaway game, which you really can't have at this point in the season, but if there was one, this was the game. It's kind of like Baltimore and Chicago. If there's a throwaway game, you throw away the game playing a non-conference team. But Seattle, Detroit, you have to have these, and you have to have anyone that can put a uniform on has to be out on the field. I know Terry's gimpy right now. I think Terry's going to play again. Yeah,
he's been struggling with those injuries.
He sure has. This is a sign of being rushed back. Having to come back. But look at the impact that he made on the game. He had 2 incredible catches. One was a touchdown. That's what they were hoping for all along, and it would have changed the whole fortunes of this season. Yeah, one man can do that because he's that good. But you need him upright. And afterwards in the locker room, he said he tweaked it. He did. He was honest about it. He said, but, he thinks he'll be fine, So they're going to need him to be fine.
Yeah. We talk with Ortho Virginia doctors and nurse practitioners, things of that sort, every Wednesday. And seemingly something that comes up often. We always ask, how do you prevent injuries? And something they always say is, stretching, of course, but also the preseason ramp up.
Of course.
And I think some of that now is coming through where Terry had no preseason ramp up, immediately went in, and things have been a little rough for him. So here's to a healthy finish out to the season. But on the Seattle side of all of this, Seattle comes in 5-2. Their 2 losses, as a Seahawks fan, were gut-wrenching. They held the lead or they were tied in the final 2 minutes. But
against playoff teams.
How has Seattle shocked you, and the play of Sam Darnold surprised you, backing up what he did after last season in Minnesota?
Not really. As far as the first question, they haven't shocked me because I was really high on Mike McDonald. He was the guy before Dan Quinn even came up as a potential coach in Washington at the time. 2 years ago, I was saying they've got to find a way to pluck Baltimore. They've got to, if they're trying to change the trajectory of the franchise and just go up the road and grab a couple of guys from up there. And I thought that he would do what he's doing. I mean, he's changed that defense. For my record, that's the best defense in football. That's just my own opinion. They're fast. They're physical. Their secondary is just lethal.
And they're healthy in this game. They've been without Devin Witherspoon,
absolutely.
Julian Love.
Yep. So now they're all back in perfect timing, not for Washington fans, but for Seattle fans. And they're really good. I mean, Sam Darnold, you look at the blueprint out in Seattle is we're going to maul you on defense, and we're going to be opportunistic, create turnovers, and we're going to run the football. And then we're going to take shots down the field. And that's why Jackson Smith and Njigba is just having just phenomenal. He might be playing the best football of any receiver in the league, period.
Yeah, you said it. We have our overreaction Mondays every Monday.
No, that's not an overreaction.
Or hot takes. I think for the last 3 weeks I have said time and time again, he is the best wide receiver in football. Full stop. The way he has been playing, the way that he eats up target shares. I mean, I think he has a 46% target share this season, which is the highest in the NFL. Washington secondary is going to have to, who they're going to, and now it's a question of, can you stop him? How do you stop him? Is it Lattimore? Is it
you have to put
bracketing
a safety
him
over him?
Yeah.
You have to. And that's not something Washington sits in zone a lot. And if they play this kid zone, he's going to have 10+ catches on them and 2 touchdowns. He's just a phenomenal player. We saw this at Ohio State. We saw this his freshman year, if I'm not mistaken. He put on a show in the Rose Bowl. So you saw this. You knew it was there. It just, my only concern was at the time when Seattle drafted him, they had Lockett and some other guys, and but you could see this guy looks like he's their best receiver. Well, now they're going to him, they're targeting him. Matter of fact, you'd be hard pressed to name their other receivers. That's how dominant this guy's been. And I think for Washington, they're going to have their work cut out for him. They're probably going to have, at times Marshawn on him, but Seattle will be smart and they'll move him around and they'll, put him in the slot. They'll put him on the outside. They'll put him in motion. They're going to do everything we just saw Rashid Rice do on Monday night.
The Cooper Kupp erasure will not be stood for as the wide receiver too. For
but
Seattle.
You know what I mean.
Averaging
Most people
one catch a game. People don't even know that he's on.
I heard some people talking on the plane a couple weeks ago. I kid you not. This was when we were playing out in L.A. And I was like, first of all, not only is he not on L.A., but you got the wrong team.
Oh no! They thought he was on that's
yeah.
A
They were like,
look.
don't they have to go up against Cooper Kupp here? I heard it on the plane. I kid you not. I was just like, oh my god, don't get involved because if you do, you're going to be talking football all trip.
Yeah, and I want to have a relaxing 6-hour flight. I don't want to have a football talking one. The Torrey Holt erasure also. Come on, man. The Colorado State standout. This is coming from this. I don't even know who our wide receiver 4 is after that. But
you just said we, which obviously goes to show your love for
the
your
Homer
team.
hat. I try to take it off, but occasionally it'll slip out. Sometimes look, there is a Homerness to it.
And you should feel good about that team. They're fun. They're really good. Are they the favorite to win their division?
They are not.
Listen,
Alan's going to go to Rams, I'm sure.
No, he's a 49ers fan.
Oh, my good. Well, yeah, you should have just stayed over in the booth over there because that ain't happening.
Yeah.
It's the Rams or Seattle.
And the Rams Seattle showdowns here to finish out the season are going to be epic. But also the NFC West is just a very good division overall.
The 49ers are banged up, man. They're just they got ravaged again this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. I think they just made a trade yesterday for a defensive end.
They got Keon White from New England.
Who was a former starter. Now with Vrabel was a backup. So
they also shipped Duggar to Pittsburgh. Duggar, another former starter to bench warmer.
Yeah, but I guess if you're Pittsburgh, you need some secondary help or something like that.
Jamar Chase, I think, is still catching passes against him after that Thursday night game where I think he was targeted 23 times. That was an insane game. Looking at these next 2 games, we were talking about how important they are. Seattle, Detroit for Washington. How can Washington win these games, in your opinion?
Having Jaden back is a huge plus, of course, because normally he's one of the top 2 players on the field, and you need that, and it's at the most important position on the field. But their problem seems to be they're not playing complementary football at all. It's like one side shows up. You saw that in the first half. The defense was 2 turnovers in the first 2-3 series for Kansas City. And the 2 most maligned guys on the defense, who people are always going after, with Marshawn and Bobby Wagner, boom, boom. Both those guys get interceptions, and you're thinking, man, maybe it's going to be good. Maybe it won't be a problem being so high up to watch the game. It's going to be good. And
I might need oxygen.
You know what I mean? The oxygen mask to report here. But, and I'll leave this story towards the end, but you're going to love this one. But anyway, you thought, okay, defense showed up. Now the offense is moving. They're moving the ball. There are 3 consecutive drives. They crossed midfield, and they got no points. So it's like they're not playing this complementary football at all. They had special teams was doing well. Luke McCaffrey really has come on as a return guy as well. But they just can't put it all together. And in order to beat a Seattle or in order to beat a Detroit after that, those 2 teams have all 3 phases in lock and tow. And if you're Washington, you can't slip up in any facet. So they're going to have to capitalize, get their points when they're given to them. And then they're going to have some outs. They're going to have consecutive series where they get Seattle off the field. because if you fall behind against that team, they're going to tee off on you on defense, and they're going to run the ball down their throat.
And unfortunately for Washington, no more Robbie Chosen. What an era.
Well, you know, Robbie was sitting up there in the press box with us on Monday. And I think
maybe practice squad, bring him back. And
he's definitely coming back. So I just want people to know they released him because they had to bring a kicker on. You know, they had to bring the kid right on. And, you know, and then they had, you know, Brandon Coleman was active for the first time in 4 games.
And was needed.
And you saw why. Because Laramie was, I can't talk about that because that report sheet has been getting people in trouble. But let's just say this. There's a reason why Brandon Coleman was active, and you saw it immediately, so we'll leave that alone.
So what's the story before we get up on out of here? What's that story you just teased, that radio tease?
So we were up so high, like I said, you know, we were in the clouds, you know, saw my parents up there in heaven. I did, you know, but when I had to come down to the field after the game to do my post game on the field, people looked like they were 10 feet tall. I mean, literally everything just kind of magnified itself. And I'm like, wow, you were squinting all game to be able to go down on the field. It literally, the stadium looked like, I don't know, it looked like it was 100 levels high. I mean, it looked enormous because that's where we were all game. So, yeah, it was a wild feeling. It really was.
Man, what time? I want to make it out to Arrowhead now, just as a media
I'm not
member.
saying, I'm not, it's a
there.
bucket list thing.
Yeah.
It is. And that was for me. That was my first time. I'm glad I got a chance to accomplish it. But
2 checks for this.
You got to remember
season.
where we were coming from. The last 2 road games before that
was
were
it
in
Dallas
and SoFi. Yeah.
The nice ones.
Big difference.
The brand spanking new ones that put everything else to shame. And but hey, you check off Lambeau, you check
People
off
out
Arrowhead.
there were awesome though. I gotta
Midwest
tell you,
nice. That's a thing.
I literally told my better half Janine when I got back. I couldn't believe how phenomenal the people were out there, and it reminded me a lot of Green Bay as far as the way they treated us. And now we're going to be going, all the travel now is going to be to Spain, and then it's going to be to New York, it's going to be to Philadelphia. Yeah, big difference.
Notoriously nice people in those cities. I don't know what you're talking about. None of those have ever thrown batteries at Santa.
Yeah.
But, Lake, appreciate you taking some time out of your Wednesday morning. I know you had a fun travel day yesterday as well, so appreciate you taking the time. Lake Lewis Jr. on Instagram, Twitter, all of those fun things. Host of the Lake Lewis Jr. Show on YouTube, our Raise and Hail Commanders Insider. We're going to get a quick break.